Make some noise for Bryant Thomas. First question. Is it Thomas is a last name? Thomas okay. There's some why I hear myself, okay. Can you? Oh, maybe we need to turn it. Yeah, 1 second. Of course, sometimes technical difficulties a little bit. Of course, it's a part of the game. Okay.
Yeah, Thomas is my last name. Yeah.
Okay, because you can sometimes you can a little bit tricky with the.
Yeah.
So this is why I wanted to ask. So, Bryant Thomas, our topics today will be, of course, we have just 30 minutes, and I guess to hear about you and talk with you, we would need much more time. That we will have only 30 minutes, and we will be talking about your environment versus your choice, your mother's influence, basketball as escape and the structure, mental toughness, and of course growth from survival and playing in Europe and in Latvia.
Yeah.
So we will start with the last topic. How do you like here being Latvia and being this winter? Tell us.
It's cool. I like the snow. I'm used to the snow because I was born in New York and it snowed all the time. So I'm used to the snow. So I like the cold. I like to wear layers. I like to wear jackets, coats, boots. So that's cool with me. So I like it here. The people's here nice. So I like it.
When it's cold time, that means so when it's 4 seasons, summer, autumn, winter, spring. That means you can have more clothes. Are you a fashion killer?
You would say something like that. I love A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is my favorite artist. So yeah, so I would say something like that.
Okay, maybe we will. If we will have time, we will talk about the fashion a little bit.
For sure,
okay.
for sure.
But how different? Because how your let's say adjustment? Because New York, you lived also in New York City.
I lived on like kind of the outskirts of New York City. So I lived in some of the boroughs. I lived in Brooklyn. I lived outside the Bronx. I was born in New Rochelle, so that's closer to the Bronx.
And the comparison to Ventspils, because Ventspils feels like quiet, family city, family town.
Yeah, exactly that. New York is fast-paced. Like it's a fast way of living. Like people always moving, always busy. No time to even like just sit and think about life. For
and
real. Here is really, like you said, with slow pace, is family. I see a lot of older people. Yeah, it's more slow pace here.
But if you need to choose only one lifestyle, fast-paced lifestyle or a slow family lifestyle here in Ventspils?
I would choose fast pace because I'm used to the city. I'm used to being in a bigger city. So for me, being in a bigger city would be more convenient for me. Slow pace is cool too. Like maybe later on in life, I would choose more of a slow pace city or something like that.
Okay, so later in your career, of course, everybody who are fans of Basketball Club Ventspils, they're hoping that you will be playing here forever because I guess they love your result and your performance here. Yeah. But later in life, so if you will pick another club, so it will be in a big city, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, for now, I mean, we'll see where my game takes me, so.
Okay, let's see. So, you mentioned before also for our bio that you're growing in low-income housing and even living in a shelter, which might be harsh, especially for a kid. If we can go a little bit deeper into that, what can you remember from that time, and what helped you, and how you get out of that situation?
When you growing up and you dealing with like poverty and being homeless and living in shelter, you really don't know what to expect. You really don't know what's going on. Like in a way, you feel confused and you feel like you can't really get out of the situation and you can't do nothing to help because you're such a young kid. But the way I kind of like went through it and how my mom helped me get through it was always keeping the vibes happy. Like even though we was living in a shelter, we always was listening to music and laughing, joking. Like yeah, we going through a hard time, but we're also building a bond between our family and connecting with one another. So I feel like the best thing to do is don't think too much on the situation that you're in, but, still make good times out of, your family and, the little things that matter, because we didn't really have much, but we always had each other.
So this is what you're telling. So that cheering up and everything what you have, you need to use it for better living, even it's not material things,
For
right?
For sure. Yeah, we want better for ourselves. We want materialistic things. We want more food. We want fancy cars or fancy clothes. But at the end of the day, as long as you got your family, that's all you need.
Okay. Man ir jautājums, ja kāds šeit no tiem, kas atrodas šeit šobrīd, nesaprot angļu valodu vai nesaprata, ko pateica mūsu viesis, Bryant Thomas, ja jūs droši varat celt roku un mēs varam arī parunāt kopā ar jums, jo ļoti, ļoti labprāt arī paskaidrotu jums, jo tā ir svarīga tēma, tā ir dziļa tēma, par ko mēs šeit šobrīd runājam, un tiešām gribētos, lai jūs neviens nepalaistu garām, jo šī ir unikāla pieredze ar to, ar ko dalās Bryant Thomas. I just... do you understand the Latvian yet?
No, I just know a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Just a little.
if you are at this age, it's start to hard to learn so fast. And I just asked that they don't need to be shy. They can raise hands and ask questions if they miss something because of the language barrier, so we would love to hear, and I would love to explain them in Latvian, because this is a very deep topic we are talking about, and it's very important. Because this is what our project is also about, to give opportunities for people and to work with what we have already, not thinking, only if we in future will have something, then everything will be okay.
Yeah.
So another question from your childhood. When you look back, what scares you the most about that environment, and what do you think made you stronger?
I would say what scared me the most was like not knowing what you was gonna eat the next day. Like that was always kind of scary. But my mom always made sure don't worry about it. We're gonna have food. We're gonna have everything we need. I would say that's one of the things, but also in New York, you gotta grow up fast too. You'll see a lot of violence. You'll see a lot of things that you wouldn't expect to see as a kid. So I would say just watching out for violence. So violence is one thing too. We gotta be ready to always look over your shoulder, always be cautious of your surroundings and knowing where you at and stuff like that. So I would say those things scared me the most as a kid, but it just made me more aware. It made me more cautious of my surroundings.
Of course, those things, what happened with you in your childhood, and if you grew through that, it makes you stronger. That's true. But at the same time, maybe the lack of something in the childhood becomes a block for you when you grow up.
Right.
When you rework your childhood horrors or problems. Is there something that taken you apart from, or there is something that not spoils, but let's say it's a difficulty for you because of that childhood?
I would say just living in poverty itself is kind of different. When it's kind of like having your childhood taken away from you in a way, because you grow up or you're around other kids and they say, "Oh, I had this when I was a kid. I had this when I was, with my family," and you really don't really want to say "Oh, I never had that," or "I never had that experience," but you feel kind of left out of your childhood in a way because you had to deal with other harsh things you had to deal with, like poverty and not knowing what to eat and stuff like that, lights being off and stuff like that. So you didn't want to talk about that as a kid because you was kind of left out in that, your childhood is supposed to be fun and like you always had everything that you wanted as a kid. So like when you're dealing with things like that, you kind of feel like you missed out a piece of your childhood or something in a way.
And you, even as I understand, even now talking to somebody, you also feel like, oh, they're talking about that, but I don't know. You never had the super soaker or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. Like oh, I don't know if y'all remember, but Heelys was a very popular thing when I was growing up.
This is when you're rolling on
yeah, you roll. You had the
shoes with the wheel attached to it.
Yeah, the wheel attached to it. Everybody had those. I used to see kids wearing their Heelys, and I used to go outside as a kid. And I used to see like kids wearing their Heelys, having new toys and stuff like that. And I ain't never had Heelys, so I always wanted. So I used to look at the kids and be like, man, I wish I had that. So I would say like missing out on like little pieces of the childhood like that everybody like else experienced.
I never had. I never heard the things like that. So it's very interesting thought about what you just mentioned. But we have a lot of young people here around. Somebody in their 18s, somebody in their 16s, 14s, 12s, and especially for those who are 8, 10, 12, they will be growing up.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of options for them where to go, because if you're in a classroom in your school, there are few opportunities where to go. So you can be like a kid with good marks in your school, and then you can get in bad company. Yeah. I will guess in your childhood it was much easier to get into trouble because of the violence you were surrounded, because of the drug abuse you were surrounded, and why we see all of those stories in in lots of stories in movies and YouTube and everywhere. Get rich fast.
Yeah.
And how can you achieve? You can start to sell drugs or get, I don't know, rob somebody. How hard was for you to not be involved into crime? How far were you from that abyss?
My mother was a big influence of having us stay out of trouble, because my mom knew a lot about my father at the time when I was younger and didn't want us to really be involved or know anything about it for real. We would watch movies where it would contain violence and drug abuse and things like that, but my mom was a big part of why we shouldn't even, like me and my family, like we shouldn't even be involved in the streets, drugs, anything like that. She wasn't having it. Like, she was not having that. So she just wanted us to be great and chase our dreams and be something out of life, because at that time my mom was, she was busy, she was working, and she really couldn't afford for us to be in the streets and stuff like that. But so we really just, stayed at home and, connected with one another, and she was a positive influence on me just staying out of trouble.
All right, and another thing, I guess, but it could be basketball, because I guess in your case the basketball is also the way stay out of the trouble.
Yeah.
How you get introduced with the basketball? Were you playing on the streets as well? Because here the context of this event is a street ball.
Yeah.
Which are also birthplaces in New York, your state.
Yeah.
And how was that, and what influenced you, and how you get to the results? Because, as you know, how less than 1% become professionals, and you're a professional basketball player.
What's really crazy is my father introduced me to the sport. Like when my father was like back with my mother, and at that time we was living in Augusta, Georgia. My dad introduced me to Kobe Bryant, and he was playing in the finals. He was like, he's a killer. Like he's my favorite player. I was like, okay. So I started watching it and getting more, influenced by basketball. And then, we had a goal. My dad bought me a goal, and we played basketball in the backyard and stuff like that. So he kind of like influenced me to play basketball. But when I traveled back to New York, my mom and my father, they weren't together. So then at that time, we was traveling back and forth. That's when we was going through a lot of hardships, being homeless and stuff like that. So I didn't really even have time to play basketball. I haven't played basketball for a team. Like I would play for fun. Like whenever I would go to a park, my mom had time to take us to the park and stuff like that. I would play because, I just liked it. But I never played more than that. I never played for a team. I never played on like for just anyone, So I was just always just inspired by it ever since I was a kid when my dad introduced me to it. So, but I never played basketball as a kid at all. Like I didn't play for no team. I didn't play street ball. I didn't play anything. Nothing.
So how you got here in Ventspils, one of the most legendary Latvian teams in basketball. I don't know how much you know about the history of this club, but this club is pretty legendary.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your professional way, especially taking into consideration your background?
Yeah. So since I was dealing with everything that I was dealing with as a kid, I didn't have time to play. So it was hard. It was hard for me to even play basketball. But once I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was around like 13, 14 years old, and I went to high school. Around my sophomore year, one of my I went to try out, and one of my coaches, he seen me. He was surprised that I wasn't already on the team last year because I said I went to the school already. He said, "Why didn't I see you? Like I never seen you here." So he took it into his own initiative to give me my physical and get me on the team ASAP because I was the tallest kid. I was just they needed somebody tall for the basketball team, and he took me to get my physical and sign me up for have me start playing for a team. Before that, I wasn't able to. My mom wasn't able to take me to get physicals or nothing like that. She had to work. So ever since then, like really my high school coach really got me on my first basketball team when I was 14.
Only from 14?
Yeah, 14 years old.
All right, that's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
And maybe you can like lead us through your way to professionals. So maybe not long story, but
I would say when I was 14, I started playing junior varsity on my high school team. I wasn't playing a lot. I was just a tall kid on the basketball team. And then I blocked a few shots, and people was like, "Oh wow, like he got some potential." And then my next year, I played. I went to varsity, trained like a lot, and they just had me in the gym a lot. So I was gaining more skills, gaining more. I was just real raw. Like I couldn't really dribble, I couldn't really shoot, I couldn't really do anything. But I just had like the talent to block shots. So then around my senior year, I became like the #1 shot blocker in the nation. So at that time, like then I started getting like recruits from colleges and stuff like that. So it was really so fast. It happened so fast. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about college either. I was just happy to play basketball because that's what I always liked, but I never had the chance. So the talent just really took me there. And then I ended up going Division I, played Division I for a little bit, transferred to a Division II school, and then I was just working hard there, and eventually I just got a pro contract after that. So after that, it was really just the hard work and the process of just gaining my skills and just like toning my talent and honing my talent together. So that was really the few main things on how I became a pro so fast or got into basketball so quickly. And it was really just that transition of just really just working and staying consistent with it, even though you have to have that love for it at the same time.
So your recipe, if you need to choose one from those three, survival, discipline, or responsibility, you would pick. Okay, of course you need to pick three. But if you need to pick one of three, which you would describe you the most?
I would say now discipline for sure. Discipline is the #1 thing you need to get almost anywhere in life. You could love to do anything all you want. Like I love to play basketball from since I was a kid till I was 14, but I never was on a team. I never did anything. But as soon as I became disciplined with training and became disciplined with going to the gym every day, working hard to be better, that's when the transition came and I got college offers, I got a pro contract, and that's what you need to be successful.
So this is what those kids who are listening to us, they need to know that discipline is the number one. Sure. But you only learn discipline when you like really believe that it works,
yeah.
or you understood that discipline will work, and yeah. How was that?
I recently just learned discipline, to be honest. Like, yeah, I was playing for me or for my standards. I was just playing off my talent and just wanted to get better. But I had to like really realize like it's people out here that's putting in the work every day, training their skills and really putting what it takes in to move up, especially as a pro, to get better every day. So, and my second year, I realized that it was players that I was playing with, and they inspired me. And they was in the gym every day, an hour 30 before practice every day. And I thought I was working hard in practice and stuff like that, but they were in the gym every day, an hour 30, an hour before me, working on shots, dribbling, handles, whatever they needed, for the game. And I'm a hard worker too, but my coach called me out on it when I was in Slovakia, and he was like, "Brian, you always come in 5 minutes before practice." I'm like, what's the problem? I'm doing what I need to do. I'm working hard in practice, but he glorified the guys that was coming in doing the extra things. He was calling out guys like, "Hey, he's in here working on ball handling. He's in here working on shooting. He's doing his thing, getting his body right. You and Justin, you're in here coming right before practice. I need you to pick it up." And ever since then, I was like, yeah, nah, that's the last time anybody gonna say anything to me about not putting in the work, because I work hard and I believed I work hard, but I knew that it was a different level to it.
So for you, it's kind of abuse when you're somebody telling to you that you're not working hard.
Oh yeah, I took offense to that deep down. I might have never said nothing about it. I never even told the players that I was playing with that they inspired me. I never told them that, but deep down I took so much offense to that. I'm like, wow, like that's the last time anybody gonna ever tell me I don't work hard, or I need to work harder than what I think I'm working. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do something else.
So it's also from what you are talking about. It's there are a lot of good news for those who are maybe not in the top league right now, maybe not in the national team, even not in the national team or under certain age. We see some guys here walking in a Latvian national team, so probably that guy maybe some of them were not on the national team before. But it's a good news for those kids that from what you tell, it seems like you learn a lot through when you're stepping in, So step by step, so that it's not that something ends at age 16 and then you are not progressing.
You're always learning. You're always learning how to become a better version of yourself, and I feel like that's very important in life. When I was 14, I couldn't even imagine where I would be now. Like, I'm a completely different person. So yeah, just take the discipline and that open-minded effect with you, with just learning along the way. So that's what I would say.
Amazing. For those for our audience, what you're telling about, of course, as we know, only 1% less than 1% will become professionals, but a lot of them, a lot of kids, so a lot of even guys who are in the 18s, they are dreaming about to play national team, play in NBA, play in EuroLeague. But what was your plan B, or if you really had, or what you dreamed about when you were 14? Because you never imagined that you will be a professional basketball player when you were 14.
I don't know. Like, I would just say, like, if you have those dreams and you have those goals, keep those goals. You know, don't give up on them, because once you start thinking about plan B's, like, you might not go as hard as your plan A. So I would say just always keep that plan A ready in your mind. Work hard for it. Don't give up. Don't listen to what other people say. And, you know, because I feel like when people talk about plan B's, like, you're not as confident in your plan A. So that's how I say it. You know what I mean? I just love basketball. You know what I'm saying? Since I was a kid. So I just, you know, put the work in because I wanted to be better. So if you want to be better at something and you know you got work to do, don't just settle for a plan B. I would just say continue to put everything into your plan A, and then you'll see how far it take you. That's what I say.
Okay, that's amazing suggestion for everyone who are listening us right now and who are listening us online. So, Bryant Thomas, once again, let's make some noise. Uztaisam aplausus, Bryant Thomas. Thank you very much for this conversation. It was amazing. As I said before, 30 minutes is too short for this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
So who knows, maybe we will see you in another Ghetto podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you.